Recently I started trading a bunch of EAs from the Forex Store, and it turned out that it's not just a regular store like the MQL5 marketplace where everyone can upload EAs and you feel lost. They carefully select the EAs they list, and that's not all. With most of the EAs, they apply a unique protection system that adjusts the settings of each EA according to what you're willing to risk. I've already made a good amount of money with these EAs, and I believe the protection system plays a huge role, so I can't wait to show it to you. So the first expert advisor that brought the most money until the moment is the FX stabilizer, and you can see that I'm trading on a 5k life account and I've requested above $3,000 of a withdrawal, and the current balance is nearly 6,000. So if it reaches 6,000, I will request a withdrawal again. So if I click on the track record, you will see that the account started with $5,000. Once it makes 20%, I withdraw. Again 20% a withdrawal, another withdrawal, and now it is very close to the 6k. In this account I'm trading all of the 8 currency pairs, which initially I thought it's a little bit too much because it's 8 pairs and there is some kind of a grid martingale which is limited. It's part of the protection, I believe, and I'll show it to you in a second. But because of this protection, having many pairs in one account is just fine. So if I show you the live account, you'll see that currently there is a floating loss from the pound Swiss and the dollar CAD, and in the account history we can see all of the trades. We can see some of the withdrawals that I've requested in the past. For example, there is one right in here, this one in October. But if I show you just the very recent trades, for example, those with the dollar CAD, so I will switch to the dollar CAD, and you will see that at the end of 2025, the expert advisor started buying dollar CAD, and it was recovered with that order where the lot increased to 128 and it closed on a very decent profit, recovering all of the previous trades. So it started to buy, and the last one was just on the bottom of the move. Look at that. This trade exactly is with 128 lots, and obviously once it reached the take profit, all of the trades were closed and I ended up on a profit. Now I'm always skeptical with grid martingale systems, but in this case we have two important things. Number one is the recovery trades are limited, and number two, there is a protection system that calculates the lots very carefully according to the risk I selected to use. So if I show the properties, you will see that in this account I am risking 35%, which means that if the price dropped very aggressively with the dollar CAD or with any of the other pairs, I wouldn't be losing more than 35% in the account, and I always use the over risk, so I leave it to the EA to decide with how much it's gonna trade. Now because I can lower this number, I can go even down to 10, I can afford to trade these expert advisors on iFunds account, on a funded account where we have max drawdown of 10% or even lower, because if I set it to 10, the EA will calculate the lots accordingly to the risk I am setting in here. And if I go to the funded results on the Algo Trading Space platform and I write FX stabilizer, you will see that there are two accounts. This is the first one where we were running the EA on iFunds account, but that one was lost. It traded for over 280 days. I've requested a sustainable amount of withdrawals, but there I kept it to even 40%, I remember. And when I lost the account, I realized that with the inputs and with this protection system, I can actually lower the risk to 10%. So if I show you my other VPS, you will see this new account where I'm trading 4 currency pairs, and I am am trading with a risk of 10%. So then the expert advisor automatically calculates that for the dollar cat, for example, the most suitable lot is 0.01. It starts with the minimum, which is just ideal. Now, if I run such a back test where we will be risking not the default 20 or 30 or even higher, but just 10%, I will just perform the back test. Let's say for the last 2 years, I will go back to 2024. For the dollar cat, let's use the every tick based on real ticks modeling, and I'll click on start. Let's see together what the result will be. And here it is, the backtest is completed, and we can see that only one time, somewhere in August 2024, the protection system applied and the expert advisor closed the trades. We can see that the equity drawdown here was 6.15%, which means that I wouldn't have lost the account in here. One more time, if I show it the graph from the 10K, the account made about $200 as a profit, then it dropped down to 9,691, and with iFunds we have a fixed drawdown. So even if the account grows, the drawdown doesn't move, it stays at the 9,000, not like with the prop firms. So even if that happens again, the account will recover after that. And if I show the vendor's track record, you will see something very similar. This is actually for the euro dollar, but it's the same protection system that applies to all of the currencies. So this one started in 2016. Interestingly, recently one of our VIP members shared in a call with me that he has been trading the FX stabilizer for over 10 years. I didn't know about that EA, honestly, and I wish I started trading it earlier. However, we can see something very similar from what we saw on the backtest. From time to time, the protection system applies, but then the account recovers. So it just closes the trades to whatever risk we set in the inputs, and then it recovers. It's not risking the whole account. That's the main thing, because the recovery trades are limited and there is a certain percent risk we are willing to lose, and then it will just recover, right? And you can see that here with the euro dollar, it happened a couple of times and it didn't happen since April 2024. And if you want to see more results from real accounts, guys, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a future upload. And just the other day I shared in our Discord a sheet that one of my traders made, where we've put together all of the expert advisors coming from Forex Store, and they have this protection system, and here are the recommended settings from the vendor, not from me, guys. Okay, that's very important. We just follow what the vendors recommend, and sometimes we lower the risk even further to make sure we don't lose the accounts. And you can see that with the FX stabilizer, exactly the recommended is between 10 and 40%. So 10 makes it suitable for funded accounts, and if you're trading live accounts, you can increase the risk. And for the other expert advisors, the risk is different depending on how many pairs you will be trading. And here are all of the currency pairs that are recommended, so you can easily create a diversified portfolio, because you really don't want to put a few expert advisors trading just the euro dollar, because if there is a strong move downwards or upwards, it might affect your portfolio. So always look for a risk diversification. And the other thing I shared in our Discord recently was one screenshot and a little bit more details about how these expert advisors work, because what we noticed is that once we place the expert advisor on the chart, it immediately opens some trades. And initially I thought this is part of the strategy, but it didn't really make sense to me. So I contacted the Forex Store team and I asked them, and there is something really interesting they've made, something I've never seen before with the other EAs. So once we start an account, it will immediately replicate the orders from the vendor's account. So let's say the vendor bought at 110.50 and there is another order at 111, and then we have the stop loss on the bottom, the take profit on the top. Now if we start trading after that point, the open trades from the vendor will immediately pop up in our account, but only if they are on a loss with the vendor, which makes a huge difference. So if we start trading the EA and the price is somewhere here, so the vendor is on a profit, then the trades will not be replicated into our account, because then the stop loss distance is very big. But if the price is somewhere in here, the vendor is in a loss, and then we hit the stop loss, it will be much smaller than what the vendor will handle. But if it goes in the right direction, then we will have actually bigger profit than the vendor. And of course, replicating these orders is synchronized with the risk we decided to use. This is smart, I admit, and this protection system makes these EAs just set and forget, which is the thing we are all looking for. Now, if you guys want to learn more about another EA from the Forex Store, check out this video on my site. And thank you very much for staying with me until the end. I hope the video was useful. Let me know if you have any questions down below in the comments. I love you, trade safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!